Okay, welcome to Module 3, and this is Creating Your Authority Fast. Now, in this video, we're going to take a leap forward, but before we leap forward with your business, we do have to create a base of operations. Now, we're going to do several things in this module, and there are going to be a few basic technical things we cover. But this is good because this will help you in the long run with some base skills. And this is what the Kickstart program is all about. It's about developing those base skills. Now, I want to stress this. Don't be afraid to jump in and do these things yourself. Now, you can outsource these if you want to, and do micro outsourcing, which we'll cover later on. But I do want to show you how to do it yourself, because this is one of those, if you're going to run an online business, you need these base skills and at least the base understanding of what we're doing. Now, like I say, these are basic skills. These will help you in your future. So what exactly are we going to do in this module? Well, this is going to be a long module, so you might want to break it up into small chunks, come back at it as you achieve each one, or maybe just watch it all through once and then come back and then re-watch it and work through it. First thing we're going to do is get a powerful domain name. Now, what I mean by this is something that is authoritative, carries weight, and will help you with your long-term business plans. We're also going to set up a simple hosting, and then we're going to install WordPress, which is going to act as the framework that we build our main website on. One of the reasons we use WordPress as opposed to static HTML or some other content management system is it is the most flexible, the most rapidly evolving, and it can be used as an incredible content management system. It's very good for search engine optimization. It's very good for social integration. And there are so many developers out there building some amazing stuff for this. It's incredible. We actually build a lot of plugins and bolt-ons for WordPress ourselves as part of IMSC. So we love this platform. We recommend it for everything. In fact, pretty much everything is running on WordPress. This site you're looking at this on right now is built on WordPress. Our main website is WordPress. All our sales sites are WordPress. So it's a very versatile platform. The other thing we're going to do is configure and optimizing it, getting it ready for sales. So it's very, very powerful. I'm going to show you how to do this very fast indeed. So with that being said, we're also then going to show you how to establish and create your brand. And then we're going to cover a little bit about micro outsourcing to get some of the finer things done for you, or to outsource this entire process. So, you ready to get started? Excellent. Let's get started and rock and roll. So what we're going to do first is we are going to create a domain for ourselves. Now, I'm going to go with the dog training one. I went through actually the exercise that we did in the last chapter, and I thought, okay, well, I've got my fingers in many pies. I'm going to be quite honest. So it's difficult for me to be objective about my list. You'll probably find it a lot easier because I'm already in many, many markets and many, many niches. So we decided, okay, let's go with the dog training one and do some cool stuff there. So what I'm going to do is I need to create something authoritative. Now, by authoritative, I mean something that is generic enough that will give me enough flexibility to cover many, many different subjects. And I thought about this, and one aspect I thought would be good, and this might help you as well, is after looking at the magazine sites, my thought was, well, why not create almost like an online magazine with authority articles about the specific niche. That way we can have people come in, we can expand this, and that's a good way to approach this kind of thing. Now, in the old days, it used to be, okay, you'd get a laser-targeted keyword domain name, you'd go after that, and then you would try and rank for that one keyword. So, for example, I might have the keyword Rottweiler training, and I try to get rottweilertraining.com. Well, if there's enough interest in that market and that narrow focus niche, perfect. Go for that. It works great. I know I've got hundreds of sites just like that. However, because of the narrow focus, I wanted to back out a little bit like you saw. So again, you can choose either approach. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to back out and create a magazine site. So what I do is, my process of doing this is I start looking at keyword terms. For example, I might go dogtraining.com, and I'm using Namecheap here. All the links for all this are below, by the way, guys. And so you can just click on these links and go to these places. I use Namecheap for two reasons. One, I get some very cheap SSL certificates. I get very cheap WHOIS protection, which I like. And the domains are pretty cheap as well. Now, I have a couple of other things I do if I want to protect a brand. But we'll cover that in the accelerator training if you're more of a member, or the elite training, because I have ways I secure everything, and I use two different services, but we're just going to go for one domain right here. So I'm going to do a search for .com, and now I can pretty much guarantee that dogtraining.com is gone. But it starts the search. It starts me looking at all the other possibilities. Now, there's only 3 TLDs that I like. That's .com, .org, and .net, and in that order. Now, we've done a lot of experiments with these to find out which ones tend to rank best. Now, we put the same kind of content on 3 different domains. This is how we did this experiment. And we bought about 20 domains, each one with the .net, .org, and .com variant. We put similar content on each one. .coms outranked everything else, followed on Google by .org, and that was pretty much even with .net on Bing at the time. So, and if you, just in case you didn't know, Bing also powers Yahoo. So across those two, .org was number 2. So if you can't get the .com, go for the .org, and that will help you. But as you can see, if we look here, all the domains are taken. So not much use to us there. But maybe there's an alternative. Maybe we can do dogtraining.mag. Or sorry, dogtrainingmag.com. Let me actually say it right. But the .org, .net is available. That's kind of interesting. We'll write that one down. But I like to actually keep a note of ones I stumble across. So let's try magazine. I like to keep words short, though, as short as possible. But we'll see. Dog Training Magazine. Let's have a look. Dog Training Magazine. That is available as well, so we can write that down. Or maybe Dog Training Weekly. That sounds like a authority magazine type site. Again, that one's actually taken as well. So let's do Dog Training Times. Whoops, I should do Times. I'm trying to get like magazine sounding names. The reason I'm trying a combination here. I'm trying to get my primary keyword plus some other word in there. But you know, it's not just working right now. So let's have a see what other kind of names. Not say Dog Training Tribune. That's not bad. Well, dogs. Let's see, dogsmag.com. That's a bit of a stretch. It's not a very well written one. So I'm going to play around for a few moments. Let me pause this video and see what we come up with. Okay, so after a wee bit of searching, which took a few minutes, I came up with a domain name that I actually like, Dog's Day Magazine. So I'm playing off the phrase, it's a Dog's Day, and magazine. Now, the thing is, magazines and stuff like that actually carry a lot of authority. So we can do a heck of a lot with this. So I'm really liking this. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to add this to cart. Okay, so I have purchased this domain. It is ready to go. Now we need to set up hosting. Now what I'm going to do for hosting is I'm going to come across to HostGator. This is a pretty cheap host. I do like it. They give you a lot for your money. For example, you can get one of their baby packages. In fact, come up to web hosting and you'll see all the packages. They give you the hatchling plan, which gives you a single domain, unlimited disk space, unlimited bandwidth, shared SSL, and $3.96 a month. I actually go for the business plan, which gives me a private SSL, an IP address. So instead of buying one from Namecheap, you can actually get one for free here. You can get a free toll-free number. Now here's a little tip for you. If you go with a toll-free number on your website that gets redirected to your phone, you look a lot more professional. And also Google, we've shown this, Google does take, if you publish your phone number, you have a lot more authority than a lot of other people. It's a great little tip that a lot of people don't know about. So we're going to go with this one. I'm going to order that now. Now here's the thing. We're going to put in our dogs. Oh, well, actually put it in the right column. We've already got a domain name. So dogsdaymagazine.com. And we'll continue to step 2 because we're using an existing one. So what you do now is fill in your billing information, put in a username here, put in a security pin, and then fill in your information. If you already have an account, it'll say, hey, what's your current billing password? Because it might say, hey, you can add it to that account. You can add different things if you want to, like GoMobi. I don't bother with that. Don't worry about it. And then you create the account, and then it'll take you over to the payment processing. So I'm going to pause the video for 2 moments and do that. And I'll see you back here in just a moment. A few moments. It takes a little while to get the email with all of your account details. So I'm going to pause the video again, wait for that information to arrive in my inbox, and then we can rock and roll. I can show you how to integrate your domain with your hosting and get WordPress installed. Okay, so I picked up my email and now I have all the stuff I need for this. So I'm actually got all this, and I have to blank out a couple of pieces here because it has my account information, I just noticed. So we are going to play around with this and reset some of this once this video is done. But what we're going to do now is we need 2 pieces of information to point our domain name to our new server. Now what I mean by that is, think of your domain like a address, and what we need to do is any traffic going to that address needs to know where it's going to end up, which house. So the domain name acts like a road marker to where it's going to end up on your server, or the server you've just purchased space from HostGator. So basically you're renting an apartment from HostGator. It's got a number, which is the IP address. And then what we're doing, we're going to actually say any traffic going to here, or any mail or anything else going to this domain, needs to know where it's going to go. And we need these name servers here to basically tell our domain name where it's going to go. So we're going to grab this information, come back into Namecheap, and I'm going to click on this, Dogs Day Magazine, and then we're going to come over here and transfer DNS to web host. Now, DNS is domain name server. It's basically where we're going to point this. And they're usually incremental. So like this one's NS1301. This one will be NS1302. I'll just confirm that by looking at that text document. And so there we go. Good. So we're good to go and save changes. Now, propagation, as they call it, of this information is pretty fast. It has to go update through all the name servers across the world. It can take anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours. I've seen it take as long as 24 hours, although thankfully that's a rarity these days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go try dogsdaymagazine.com right now. And right now you can see this is going to HostGator. So they're saying, okay, where is it going? And what have you. So it's already pointed. This is the default page. And that was literally seconds, which is pretty impressive. I'm happy with that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to log into what's called cPanel. So go /cPanel, and cPanel stands for Control Panel. So again, we need this information from this document. Our username is dogsday, and I'm very impressed that it pointed that fast. That's very helpful when you're recording a live video like this, that things work that smoothly. I can tell you the number of videos I've recorded over the years, very few things go that smoothly. So I'm glad for that, I really am. So we'll just log in here, and I'm going to log in, and I'm going to remember the password, and I'm also going to save it in my keychain, and then you get a control panel just like this. Now you can go through this tutorial when you first log in if you want to. I skip it because I've done it a million times, and we don't really need to. Now if you're using HostGator, you have some very cool stuff in here. What we want to do first of all is we want to get rid of, actually I'm going to close a couple of windows here. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I want to go to the dogsdaymagazine.com. And you can see right now we've got this default one. We want to get rid of this. So what we're going to do first of all is come down to here. I'm actually going to change the password as well because I don't like their password. So I'm going to put in that, and then I'm going to put in a new password, something generic. Something I like. So I'm just going to put something in here. Now I don't know if it's going to show us what it is. And okay, I apparently got that wrong. So let's do something here. Okay, we're going to call this. Hopefully that'll work. Kick start test 99. I'm just going to do this for kickstart test 99, and hopefully that should be good. I'll update the password again, and good. Okay, logged us out. We'll log back in, save that, clear that message again. Don't show this again because that's getting annoying. And then no thanks. Okay, so now we've done that, we'll go into the file manager. I'm going to go into the home directory, show hidden files, and skip this question in the future. Now this is going to put you in the main folder. You want to go, your website is actually going to be contained in the public HTML or the www. These actually link to the same thing. So we'll go in here, and you can see that default page. We'll kill that. Just right click, click delete. It'll confirm. And this is like having your own personal file manager. And I love this. The file manager here, you can use a program called FTP if you want to, but honestly, you really don't need to unless you're doing a lot of file uploading. You can actually do a lot right from this. Now, so we've got rid of that default page. If I click on this now, boom, it's gone. You can see we've got a blank canvas website. So now what we're going to do is we're going to install WordPress. Now, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to show you two ways to install it. One is lightning fast. The other way is a little more technical. I'm going to show you both ways. Again, these are going to be useful skills you will possess. So I'm going to go into Fantastico Deluxe. Now, if you have this, perfect. This is a one-click install. It works great, and you can install all sorts of cool software with just a few simple clicks. I'm going to install WordPress right here. And this is the easiest and fastest way to install a WordPress. So I'm going to click on New Installation. I'm going to go to Dog's Day Magazine, which is the current one. We'll say just leave it as the root directory, so we'll leave that blank. We'll change the password. The reason I'm going to show you the other way is this is going to install a version that is a little older. I don't like having old versions of WordPress on my site because of security risks. But again, if you want to avoid the technicals, this is the quickest way to do it. So I'm just going to put in a username and password here. I'm just going to do that as a demo. Admin nickname, I'll put this as administrator. And then Dog's Day site name, I'll just put Dog's Day Magazine. And then I'll put admin at that. And then dog training advice, tricks and tips, or should we say dog advice, dog training advice. Yeah, dog training. Let's leave it with that. Think about that more later on. We can change it at any time we like. So I'll say, okay, it's going to be created here. Are you happy with this? Yes, absolutely. Finish the installation. And what will happen is, if we go over here right now, we will see a brand new Dogs Day magazine. And we're good to go. In fact, I left off the S off tips, so that is a base setup ready to go. Now, I'm going to now do something crazy. I'm going to go and delete that install. If I reload this, you'll see it's installed everything we wanted right there. So that's good, that's fine. But now I'm going to delete all that and show you the manual way, because again, these are some skills that will help you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to WordPress. It'll show you these existing ones, so I'm going to remove that. And good. So now we have no installs and we're good to go. So what we're going to do now is go back to Control Panel, and I'm going to download, because the version Fantastico installed right there was 3.3.1. We're a few revisions past that. So I'm going to download it from here, download the latest version. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the file manager to upload that. So I'm going to come across the file manager and I'm going to click upload, browse, and I'm going to pull this off my desktop right here. So do that and you can see it's already starting the upload and it's already complete. I'm on a very, very fast connection here. So I'm going to come back here, reload, and you'll see that we have the file right there. Now it's a zip file, but you can unzip right from here. So I'm going to select it and extract and install that here. Now here's the funny thing. I don't know why they do this, but it puts it in a folder called WordPress. We don't want it there. We want it in here, which is our root install. So I'm going to double click in here, select all the files, click move, and we're going to move them up one level. So we want them in the public HTML folder. So we'll delete that and then move them. You can see, boom, we're in the WordPress directory, and this is kind of like a navigation. You can see exactly where you are. So this directory is now empty. So we'll go up one level, and this is where we wanted those files to be. Now I'm done with that. I'm also done with this one. So I'm going to right click, click delete, and boom, done. Now we can do the install. Now here's the thing. We've got the files in place, but we also need to create a database. Now a database, if you're not familiar with the technicals here, is a way to store information and serve it quickly. So we have the ability to create a database that WordPress talks to store all our information. So we've got a database here, which was the one from the setup we just did with Fantastico. We're going to delete that real fast because I don't like to clog up with empty databases. I'm also going to delete this user because you need a user to connect to a database, and that's the information that WordPress will need. So we've got nothing in here right now, so I'm just going to create one called dogsday_main. So create that. That's our database name. And now we need to create a user. So I'm going to call it dogsdayuser. I'm going to give it a password. Say, I'm just going to do this. Okay, create that. Create user. And use the password access22 for demo purposes here. And then go back. Now, one last step is we have to assign the user to the database. So we've created the user, we've created the database, now we have to have them talk to each other. So you come to this section here, select your user, select your database, click add, and then it says what permissions do you want to give. Just click all privileges, make changes, go back, and you're good to go. You want to make sure that your database has a username assigned, and you're probably okay. So now that we've done that, we've deleted this website. So if I refresh it, it's saying, hey, there doesn't seem to be a WP config file. We're good to install if you see that. So we'll just click create a configuration file. It says, oh, what information do we need to install? Just click on next. And then you should have wrote down your information you've already done, unless you've got a good memory. So we'll do dogsday_, the database was main. The next one was the username, which was dogsday_user, then access22. You better check with your host what your database name database server and host is. Or if you're using GoDaddy, which I don't recommend, but they have a remote one you have to connect to. For most people, if you're on a cPanel host, it's going to be localhost. And another security thing, I do suggest you change the table prefix. So I'm just going to put this as DD, Dog's Day, and then submit. And it says, okay, you should see this message if everything's good. All right, Sparky, you've made it through this part. We can now communicate with your database. Run the install. So we'll do that. Then we'll call this Dog's Day Magazine. We're getting the site title. I always change the default. I never use admin. So in this case, for demo purposes, we'll use administrator. And then, now I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to use access22 as a demo password here, just for the sake of sanity. You can make it as strong as you like, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to have this go to one of my setups. I'm going to uncheck privacy here, where allow the search engines to index my site. We're not live yet, so I'm going to uncheck that. And then I'll click Install WordPress. And I'll have it remember that. Good, good. I'll save that up here. And we're now good to go. So click on Login and do Access22. Login. And we now have our dashboard. We are on the latest version. And if we come over here, actually, if I come over, I'll right click this and visit the site. We'll see we have exactly the same website. Although it rotated the top thing, we now have an install of WordPress. And that's how you do it manually. So I do recommend, if you can, do it manually. You'll always be on the latest version. And it makes updating a lot easier. Now, obviously this is not a very appealing website right now. It's not bad, but it's not great. So we want to change things up a bit. We also need to do some internal stuff as well. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a theme, because I'm all about making sites look professional. If you're going to really have any credibility and authority, you do want to create a base of operations that looks absolutely amazing. You want people to come to your website and go, let me dig further. That's the first thought they've got to have. Or, oh, I found my information. Where do I go now? So we're going to install a couple of themes we're going to install a theme just to get rocking and rolling. I'm going to come off this page. Now, on the same website, wordpress.org, they have a themes tab, and you can look at the themes they've got, all the most popular ones here, or you can scan through stuff. One I really like that I've chosen for this is called Aris. You can go to aristheme.com, and it's a pretty cool setup. I'm going to download their new beta version of this. So we're going to download this, and you can download, this is a beta version, like I say, but I'm going to download this save file, and we've got it as a zip. That's great. But you can also go find commercial ones. One I like is called flexsqueeze.com. Another one I like, if you want to get really technical, although it's a little advanced, you can go to one of my favorite places, rockettheme.com. And they have all sorts of great stuff on here. In fact, they've literally just released this one today. I was on the site yesterday. They hadn't released this one. So I'm going to have to go check that out. But if you want to check out a demo, click on demo. And you get an idea about what a site looks like, how it works. For example, this could be very cool for a dog site. You could have dog images and stuff on here. This is all search engine optimized. There's all sorts of stuff on here. I actually like this theme. Very cool. But it takes a little bit of getting used to, especially if you're new. So if you want to get an idea, just for example, I use a Rocket theme one right here. This theme is the very same one that we use on IMSE and the Inner Circle. So we've taken this, modified it, and that's what we use on the Inner Circle and quite a few of our websites actually. So that's a little more advanced. There's a lot going on here that you can use if you want to go that way. If you want to just keep it simple, get the Aris theme or something like that, or a free theme, just to get your feet wet. You can go advanced later on, but we're starting out here. So I've downloaded that theme. What I'm going to do is come to Appearance, Themes, and then we're going to click Install Themes, because we've downloaded one. Now you can do a search here. Maybe you can find one you like. There's all sorts of stuff they have in here. But I'm going to upload the one I've already chosen. So I'm going to click on Browse. You can see my download right here. Click Install now. And then I'm going to activate it. So that's it now. You have all sorts of options, but let's have a look at how it looks on the front end. So that's the basic one. Right now we don't have much else. We don't have all the images and featured posts and editors, pics, but we've got a lot we can start with. Now, there's lots of options. You can customize things, change the widgets around, the header, the background. You can play around with all those options, and there's, for whatever theme you have, there's all sorts of usually tutorials out there that you can start playing with, and we'll get into that. But there's a couple of plugins I want to add first, because we want to get our base foundation. Now, two things I like to do. Now, I say WordPress is pretty good for SEO and can be pretty fast as well. In fact, if I go, for example, to, I don't know, the Hello World tab, boom, that's actually pretty quick. It's already got share buttons in here and all sorts of cool stuff. That's great. That's not bad, and we've got all sorts of cool stuff in here. We've already got a pretty good looking website, but there's a lot more we can do. A couple of things I like to do is I like to add some SEO optimization and some caching as well. It just speeds everything up a little bit. So the two plugins I'm going to install are, I'm going to click on Add New. I'm going to add one called WordPress SEO by a company called Yoast. And it'll take just a few moments. And you get this one here. And then the other one we're going to do, I'm going to activate that. And now what happens is you start getting pop-ups all over the place. So I do not allow tracking. I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing. And then you get all these other pop-ups, so close and all the rest of it. And it's saying, oh, you've got to change your post name and your permalinks. We'll do that in just a moment. The other one I'm going to add is called Total Cache. So we'll pick that up. This just helps speed up the website. So I'll install that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the settings of both of these. Now, first of all, before we go into those, I am going to do some base settings. So come to General. We need to change our tagline here. So Dog's Day Magazine. The best dog training advice and tips site ever. Okay, that's a big claim, but I'm all about big stuff like that. Go big or go home. That's my motto. So, okay, good to go on that. The other thing I'm going to do is go to the permalinks, and we want to have something pretty, because right now it's like P equals 1, 2, 3. That's not very nice. So click on post name, and then save that, and then we have a nice post name. So instead of like we have right here, P equals 1, 2, 3, if I refresh this, it should say Hello World. So there we go. A lot more SEO optimized. So now we could have dogsdaymagazine.com/Rottweiler training or something like that. So you can see how we're targeting all those different keywords we researched earlier on. So we're getting there. Some nice stuff going on here. And you can start playing around with widgets and all the rest of it. But we're going to keep it fairly basic for now, just to get started. So right now we'll start going on to, because customization does take a while, and you can add all sorts of widgets and plugins. For example, if we go to the widget section, just to show you, right now we got the search, the recent posts, categories, meta tags. We could have featured stories like this, the tabbed sidebar. You can add whatever you like, the Google Plus badge if you want it. I like that. That might be good. And then you have to add your Google Plus ID, and they usually give you instructions, so we have to do that in the theme options. Maybe a video. This is pretty cool. Twitter feed, if you have a Twitter account attached to this. The social buttons, those should go up pretty high, so let's do that there. Again, you've got to go enter all that information into the theme. So let's, now that we've done that, let's refresh this, see what happens to the setup. So we've got the, okay, so we've got the social buttons. Let's go change some of the theme options. Let's have a look at this. So say for example, the options will come in here, and we've got all the different things we can do. So okay, RSS feed is basic. Twitter username, say for example Sean Donahoe, which is mine. Facebook username, I am Success Center is my Facebook. Flickr ID, Google Plus, I don't have that. Manic Marketer. Let me change this. I'm just going to put a random number in here. It's not actually right, but you get the idea. So we'll save the settings on that, and that should then bring up all the social buttons hopefully across there. So good, that's a great start. And then it would show the Google stuff if I actually put in a valid ID. It's put my information in here about the administrator, so I might want to change that to a nice name or something like that if I'm using a persona. It's pulling my gravatar as well, so you might want to go to gravatar.com for your and set a different gravatar so that you're not using the same stuff. So that's one base setting. Let's go to home, and you can say hide duplicate posts. Yes, I would prefer to do that. Let's see, ignore sticky posts. That can be useful. And then you can decide what you want to do, whether you want to show a slideshow, featured post section. And we haven't got any posts in here at the moment, but I actually like this theme because it's very flexible. Layout, you can decide whether you want to show excerpts, whether you want to do a quick preview or node based. You can play around with all these options. Look at the settings. So I could do left column, primary font. So maybe I do Droid Sans, secondary font. I do Open Sans or something like that. Primary color. I can play around with that. So save changes. Now maybe I want to see the thumbnails. I'm going to leave those as default because they're already primed. But let's have a quick refresh. And you can see we've got everything over the left now. And okay, so it's actually pulled my latest posts. It's kind of interesting. And then you got the tabs here and stuff like that. I actually like that. That's pretty cool. And we could remove some of the widgets we don't want, but we're starting to build up content right off the bat. So I'm going to remove a couple of widgets I don't like, but let me have a look at the tools. Okay, now that's actually pretty good. Now the header is pretty cool. Right now we've got a preview of this. Now you could add an image. And this is one of the things with micro outsourcing. I do recommend you customize things up and make them look professional. So what you might want to do is go to a place, and this is what place I love for micro outsourcing, called Fiverr.com. Now, you can do anything on Fiverr pretty much for $5. For example, if I said header and I did that, just typed in header, I will find graphics designers that will design a great design header banner for your business and what have you, or I'll make a header for your site in 24 or 48 hours and you'll get the PSD file. So you could have them design you up a logo to go in that header, and they will give you the original PSD file. If you want a logo for your site, guess what? You can do it here. I'll give you another one. Install plugins. If you do that, I'm sure there'll be someone that will do that. I will help you install plugins or Joomla or WordPress. So, boom, done. I will set up a WordPress blog and install plugins on your hosting account for $5. If you don't have the time, if you don't want to deal with the technicals, there are plenty of people out here that will do it for you. And it's amazing. I use Fiverr all the time for micro outsourcing. And we'll cover this later on for some of the traffic stuff, because there's some great traffic stuff in here as well. So I haven't actually built a header for this. What I will do is I'm going to go away, because actually I'll do something in Photoshop real quick and apply it to this. But we are pretty optimized. The only thing I'm going to do is, because I'm a little OCD about things that don't suit. So I'm going to take away the recent posts, the recent comments, the archives, the categories for now, and the meta. I'm just going to, and then I'm going to put the feature, the tabbed sidebar up here for navigation, and the search. Put the search up here as well. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. I'm going to put that above that, and maybe that above that. And then we've got bottom content. We've got all sorts of other sections you can have as well, which is actually pretty cool. But let's just stick with the sidebar. I'm going to do that, and then let's have a look at how that looks. That should clean things up a little bit. Okay, so we got the social buttons, the search, and tags, and then stuff in the Twitter feed. That is a lot cleaner, and we're starting to make progress. Now, what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to set up some stuff like the content, and we'll add some other stuff to this video. But this video has got pretty long, so if you get at least to this point, you're ready to go. And what we'll do in the next one, we'll apply a header. We're going to create our menu, and we're going to add some policies and do all that kind of cool stuff, just to really start fleshing things out. And then we're going to get prepped for some really powerful content. Action steps for this week are: choose and pick your authority domain, get your hosting. Maybe you've already got hosting, that's fine. Set it up as an add-on domain or something like that if you need to. And install WordPress and choose a power theme, something that's going to help you create your authority, and then optimize your site and get it ready to add content. Now, in the next module, we're going to create high converting content. We're going to establish simple content funnels. We are going to get the key elements of great content. I'm going to show you exactly how we create very compelling content that literally draws in masses of traffic. And then we're going to show you how to convert visitors into action takers. So with that being said, we've covered a heck of a lot today, but go take action, get those action steps done, and I will see you in the next module. Take care.